have to record it. Sure, we have to talk about the filial.
Hello?
Yeah,
Yes, ma'am.
yeah,
Philia, you know, when I talk about filial love, I talk about when we've got family members, you know,
sure,
the
sure.
people
Yes,
you grew up
person.
with, you've got friends, you've got church members that you attend church, you know,
You're right.
together.
Definitely.
Yeah, so those that is love, you know,
Yeah.
that is not, I mean, related to a romantic love,
Yes.
you know. It's love that you can that is between friends,
Yeah.
families, you know, and all that stuff.
No,
And to
you are
think of,
absolutely right,
yeah,
Hassan.
yes,
Absolutely right. You definitely can
to,
apply that. Definitely,
yeah,
definitely.
to think of someone and be sympathetic and try to assist when there
Exactly.
is a
As
need.
the pastor,
Yes. Yeah.
as the
Yeah.
shepherd, you apply that filial love, and some very often, you know, even when Christ was talking to at the at chapter 21 to Peter when he was a little bit angry that and then he says, "Do you love me?" Remember which word he used? He used the word filial. Do you love me? Do you love me? When he when Peter didn't find in his heart courage enough to say, "I do agape you," because he failed him, he deserved him, and he didn't find the courage to say, "I do agape you, Lord." He found courage to say, "I do philo you." At least that love definitely existed in a Peter's heart. And then when the last time Jesus asked him, "Peter, do you philo me? At least did you like me as the friend?" Peter was happy to reply, "Yes, I do." And this is the difference between agape. Well, he didn't have reason to say, "I do agape you," because he didn't find that in his heart. But filial, he definitely had, and he agreed with Christ, so he had that one. So, but anyway, it's a different topic, and now we have little time, but I still have to comment on that too. In chapter 8, where you will be dealing with Bill Mounce, I give you Bill Mounce to teach you his book, and he's the best one with that. So let me share screen, screen share, and I'm taking you into John chapter 10, just to show you few words. John chapter 10 and verse 10, and we read that. Can you all see on screen? Should I do it bigger like that? So we read John 10 verse 30. Ego kai ho pater hen esmen. And now you can translate for me if you didn't read and didn't listen to chapter 8 yet. So that will be a good example for you. The last word before you translate the whole sentence, esmen. And that means word to be in the vocabulary form, eimi, vocabulary form for the word to be in Greek, eimi, I am. But if we talk about plural, like we say not a me, we say esmen. And easy to memorize it because it's like mu, epsilon, and nu gives you ending. It's like main all together. So if we, so it means esmen, we are. So that's the changing of the word to be in every single person, like say I am, you are. So we have a little bit of indication in English with that, but in Greek, of course, this will be for every person, and singular, plural, you, I, you, we, they, in plural, or you in singular, like say you to singular person or you to plural. So every time we change the form of the word me. So in this case we have esmen, and we're talking when Jesus just finished in chapter 9, I think it's chapter 9 or beginning of chapter 10. Yeah, beginning of chapter 10, he just finished the parable about the shepherds and good shepherd. And Jews told him, if you are the Christ, tell us plainly. Verse 24, just before that, I'm not going to scroll it up. So he says, they said, say us plainly. They understood that he replies that he's not, because he's saying they are not of his sheep, giving him by the Father. And he then says, I'm the Father are one, and Jews pick up the stones to kill him. And this is, sorry, my connection is not great. And Jews' response shows clearly that Jesus was making a claim to be God, Yahweh, the God. And they say, it's not for the noble work that we intend to stone you, but for blasphemy, because you, merely a man, are making yourself to God. And in many translations, that sentence, ego, I, kai, and ho pater, Father, one. So, and many translations translated, okay, I'm going a little bit further. Sorry, further, 34. Okay, can you see ego? Ego eipaset theoi. No, sorry, 34. Yeah, found the right one. Yeah, because hoti su you anthropos hon, being a human being. This is the participle. Poeis se son theon, you making, poeo to make, se son yourself, theon God, you making yourself God. And we, in many translations, we have you are pretending or making up. Or some translations say, make yourself out to be, but nothing like that exists in the meaning of the word poeo. Poeo, if you go to the Strong Dictionary, doesn't give you that. It does, if you press here, it will give you the understanding like acting, you act, and Christ is God, to act like God. Or presenting, let's say the word here, present, and he's presenting himself, he's practicing the words, what he's saying, or he shows himself as God, and he treats people as God would treat them. So there's nothing like that, like you make yourself out to be. There's no meaning for that verse, make yourself out to be. Moreover, we have no article before the substantive theon. He is not, of course, Jews don't understand he's acting as one of gods, like Greek gods around, you know. They definitely mean that he is acting like God himself, saying, I'm and my Father are one, referring to the Shema Israel, Adonai Elohim. Listen, Israel, our God is the only God. Only God. There's no many gods, only God who is in heaven. So he's acting as God himself. And for that, for blasphemy, he is deserving from their mind. He's deserving to be killed. And this is the penalty for for presenting himself God. And very important to understand, there we have theaton, and theon, and we have that accusative. You see Omicron nu, and this is again Omicron nu. And you remember in accusative form, we have these endings. So we have two accusative, two subjective cases, or two subjects. In Greek, we call it object. Two objects, two accusatives, and we call it the two objects. In this case, we call it object complement. And more rule, if we have that participle, it will be called in Greek grammar object complement, which gives us translation, and only translation, to be or namely. So you making yourself namely, you make yourself to be God. There's no things like making yourself as God, or you making yourself seemingly God. He definitely claiming equality or oneness with God. And of course, you can't build the whole doctrine of Christ being God, and it's very important for Gospel of John, because everywhere he says ego eimi, I am who I am. And he definitely referring, first of all, he referring to Moses and the burning bush, I am who I am. And that is highly important to understand. And this is also chapter 8, ego eimi, I am. And a deity, you can't understand, you can't draw the whole doctrine from one text. You, of course, you have to claim the whole book and the whole Bible. And maybe you have to go to Titus 2:13, where it says Christ, who is eternal God, who is God himself, letter to Titus. Oh, of course, many other references in Bible where Christ is presented as deity, as God himself. So we have very little remaining time, 8 minutes, and I will try to fit again few words from Gospel of John, and we are stopping at verse 18. We finished with 10, and those, I think I'm missing 2 of your I don't remember who exactly, but you would know. I'm missing 2 devotionals. Not everyone submitted yet. And remember, late submission also have some penalty. Please be in time with your devotionals next time. So verse 18, I read it quickly. I will not read all verses. We don't have time. Eista ideal tain. Kai ho idio alton u parela bon. And absolutely love this text. We are actually climbing top of the hill or top of the mountain, because the periscope verse 1 to verse 18 has the chiasmic structure, and the center of chiasm will be verse 18, and we will come to that. We will stop and give more attention to verse 14, but now we are just climbing up to the top hill. Eista idea, meaning of the word idea. Idea, it is the ta idea, singular. It's a singular. You can that's plural. Okay, that's very good, because singular comes singular. Okay, later on in verse 12. Yeah. He came into his own, as translation gives us, but the meaning, of course, more than that. You can go to Strong Dictionary later, but I will give you description now. So anything idea will be your property. Let's say you inherited your property, you inherited your land, you inherited your farm, you inherited your, let's say you have people around your house. Anything by the rights of the legal rights you inherit, that is your idea. So even you have complete right on your family. Okay, you are the head of the family. You can say your children what they ought to do because you're the father to say so. So it's your idea. Idea is your family. Idea your wife in a healthy sense. Idea is your house, what you build or what you bought, what you have, your documents. Idea is something that you created, you build it up. Your car, you build up yourself. Your things, that's your idea. You have complete right on that. Moreover, in this verse, idea in plural. So Christ created plurality of his idea. It's your property, it's your more inheritance. It's something, it's not more, it's in this case, it's not just inheritance. It is something that it's yours. You did it, you created it, you made it. So he came into that idea, but in plural, it's many. Kai ho idioi auton u parelabon. So, and this idioi, his family, his property, his children, his own thing, his own stuff, not received him. Parelabon means to welcome someone who stays at your door. Okay, who stays at your door, and imagine yourself being head of the family, and you have children and you have your wife, and you knock at the door, and this is welcoming, you know. So they didn't receive you, and they didn't receive you in your property, in your home, in your house, on your own plot. So that is the meaning, and this is purely just a semantic of the vocabulary. Purely, there's not even grammar involved. Yeah, a little bit of grammar of the plurals. So they didn't receive him, and you can elaborate more when you do devotionals on the word parelabon, to receive. You go to dictionary, and I don't have time for that. Will give you meaning. So as many. It's not necessary quantity here. It's also not necessarily greatness, like how many. It's more like a comparison as well, more comparative form, as many, comparison with the ones who didn't receive as much, not as many, but out of those, let's say, in comparison, out of those who didn't receive, they were still, however, there as positive. We translated the beginning like, but few, let's say, or it was some, but few elabon received him. Few received him. He gave edoken. He gave to them exousia. Exousia, you open your textbook on chapter 7, I think, and there you read in your vocabulary, chapter 7, given exousia, authority. There's different, again, 2-3 different words for authority. Authority like a power, like a strength, like I have a power to, I have a strength to do 30 push-ups at once, you know, that's the strength, that is your power. And there's authority, power, it means legal authority, or it means also authority or right, ability, or supernatural power. And that is authority. All your legal documents, let's say you adopt your child, and you go to the court and you obtain all the documents you needed for that, so nobody will take away the child from you because you have legal authority for that. So he gave them authority, tekna theou, children of God. So he legally adopted them. So he gave them authority to legal authority to become children of God, genestai, to become. Toys pisteusin, what kind of children are they? It's the ones who believing. And this is the, you can see this is the present participle. Later you will know it's present, and present means continuously believing. It's not the one who believed or will be believing later on, the ones who continuously believing in ento ho onoma, eis to onoma, so in his name. Again, the last words. And this one, just 1 minute left. I miss everything. Not from blood. They understood that a child born in the past, in the ancient time, there's a blood involved in conception. But the word ginovtai, it's to become a father. It's referring to the male, not female. For female, we're using the word with one N. For male, we using the word to conceive, to become a father, to well, in Old Testament, we're talking about fathers who gave birth to. So that's the word.